Yo, welcome to another episode of Who Dares Wins. JP here speaking with you. Um, man, so today I wanted to talk to you about I'm trying a new thing, trying with Zoom. I'm trying a new thing, right? Trying to understand if I should do visuals or just audio or both. And I'll probably do both, but at times looking at myself, I just feel like I look freaking crazy. Um, but I wanted to talk to you guys about this idea that I'm thinking of where I talk about all the things I like, right? So I'm going to talk about sports, going to talk about God, going to talk about music, going to talk about culture, going to talk about what I'm learning at school at Asbury Seminary, what I'm reading and what I'm viewing and what I'm seeing. So recently I saw an episode, or not an episode, I saw the movie Oppenheimer, and man, um, it's really, really good. Really good. Like it's so good that while I was watching it and then after watching it, I was like back and forth with my sister, like, who is this straws guy? And like, who is this and who is that? And like, what did Oppie mean with this? And you know what I mean? And I had no idea. I had no idea that that Oppenheimer was so controversial. Like maybe not the movie, but like the actual event. And so it makes sense, right? It's an atomic bomb. Strauss was in charge of atomic engineering stuff. He had Einstein there, all of that in the movie. It was wild. But then at the same time too, it was kind of like how man, I just didn't know. And I know and I feel like, I was talking to my sister and I was just like, why don't I like, why did I not know this? Why did I not think about it? And I think the reason why is because um I think the reason why is because uh I was like against war and I was against like weapons and these kinds of things. And, at points in my life, I was against it. So like definitely since probably being it since probably since 98, but definitely in the 2000s to 2000 like now. I was just like no way, right? And And so I didn't want to learn about bombs. I didn't want to learn about Oppenheimer. I was like, you don't need to tell me much. Like, I'm already against it. I'm against, I was like one of these guys that was like, against America, against weapons, against military, against like funding for our military. Definitely like a close every prison person. I don't think I really thought through things as much as I thought emotionally about certain things. So when I was watching a movie, I was like, wow, this is a controversial guy, controversial time period. And but at the same time too, it was like very interesting, very entertaining movie. Very entertaining movie. I did see Barbie as well earlier this year, and I thought that was a good movie too. I thought it was a good take on things and whatnot. But I know there's other people that will disagree with me and stuff like that. But I thought it was a good take on things. It was funny, and I think ultimately toward the end of the film is when it really starts to come together and sort of like express like, hey, this is like where men are at. This is where women are at or how they feel, and that we need to be like thoughtful toward that, but we also need to be thoughtful toward men. But I think it ultimately was not really like a movie to be taken serious. It's like a joke, you know what I mean? It's like a entertainment movie, very, but there's definitely like deep moments to it that you can definitely gather and that we can use for like our interactions with each other. But yeah, I was entertained. I thought it was pretty good. I was like, wow, this is pretty deep. And very interesting, very interesting. And thinking about the Greta Gerwig, who did the film, right? And I thought about her body of work, and yeah, she's always gonna have. I feel like she always gonna do work like that, like content movies that are very thoughtful and introspective, and a dialogue and a critique, but also entertaining and funny. And I don't think yeah, I liked it. I liked it. I liked Oppenheimer. And if anything, Oppenheimer got me to really think about things. And now I'm like, oh, what am I going to watch now? Because I mean, like, I waited forever to watch this movie. I watched it on Peacock, and I had multiple opportunities. Like, I wanted to see it in the theaters, and I just never did. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. 3 hours. I don't want to do it. Um, but some other things that I wanted to talk to you about really quickly is that um so pretty soon, I think this Saturday, I think it's this Saturday, um Shane Gillis will be on SNL. And so I think that that's just like crazy because they fired Shane Gillis um a few years ago, and the guy is hilarious. His skits are hilarious. Um, his podcast is hilarious. His like YouTube page. Um, Dude is a genius. If you haven't seen his first special, you definitely should check it out. Shane Gillis, like YouTube, where he's like, it's like live from Austin, Texas. It's very, very good. He has a special on Netflix right now. I think it's Netflix, called Beautiful Dogs, and that's funny too. But this special on YouTube, to me, takes the cake. He is hilarious, and his take on things are definitely going to make you cringe, but you're going to think about why you're cringing, and you're kind of like, wait, this is super funny. And I don't know. He's not for everyone. I've definitely have read that, like people saying like he's not for everyone, but I like him. I like him a lot, and I think comedy is supposed to be this way. Like comedy is supposed to be a medium that is sort of like truth tellers, or they're the jesters. They're the jesters. They're entertaining the king, you know, and it's like we need to be okay with that. We need to be okay with that. You know what I mean? We need to be okay with that. And if you don't like comedy, if you're not into it, if that's something you don't have a muscle for, then don't. Just don't listen. Don't watch. You know, there's people saying on Instagram and everything like I'm not gonna watch this week. You know, fine, don't watch. Shane Gillis is incredibly funny. It's like the best episodes this season of Saturday Night Live have been, or maybe this is a new season. I'm not sure, but it was Nate Bargatze, hilarious, clean comic, hilarious, and then Shane Gillis. I don't know what Shane's gonna do, but it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit because this guy is hilarious. I don't care what he's talking about. He could be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, talking about, you know, the Phillies, you know what I mean? I don't know if he's a Phillies fan or if he's a Pirates fan. He's probably a Phillies fan. Um, you know what I mean? But it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be hilarious because he's smart, and it's like he really does a great job of like, I'm from this area of Pennsylvania, but I live in New York. I think he lives in Austin now or somewhere, but like he did live in New York at certain times. So it's like he just really like does a good job of being able to speak to a conservative base, but then also being able to speak to liberals, and and like, you know, the world's outside of that, around it, surrounding it. I don't know. I just think he's really funny. I look forward to this special. I look forward to this special in addition because he was kicked off of SNL in the first week of being hired, I think. And now he's being asked to come back and host. Because, I mean, think about that. He got fired and now he's being asked to come back and host. That's crazy. To me, it's crazy. Maybe it's not crazy, but and I think it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy because, like, they're saying that he was offensive and did all these things, right? And and if you're like offended about what he said, fine. But like, I don't think he was really saying it. I think like he's a very like thoughtful, tasteful comedian, but he is also he's not for everyone. He's not for everyone. And some people are saying that Lorne Michaels liked him and wanted to hire him, but it was NBC who didn't want to hire him. So that's why he didn't make it. But it'll be interesting to see what he says. He's probably gonna joke on SNL. He's probably gonna joke on NBC. He's probably gonna joke on cancel culture and like offending people. He's probably just gonna go out of his way and like offend people. Reminds me of when Bill Burr was on SNL and he just totally went after totally went after like white feminist women. It's just like kind of like saying how like they put like somehow they put themselves in the front of the line of oppression, um instead of just kind of like taking just kind of taking the hard feelings, the rough experience, like the rough time of white folks, like kind of being taken to an account for the history and the situations and the things that have happened throughout history, especially in America, probably in all over the world, probably, but definitely in America. And so, like, to me, it seemed like Bill Burr was saying, like, it's not just white men, but it's white women too. And he went as far as saying, like, he went far. And um, so I don't know. I love Bill Burr. He's not for everyone either. But to me, I think as long as you continue to grow and understand, if you want to, you can grow in understanding like how comedy works, how comedy's written, like how like it's about being able to say what you need to say, but not necessarily like writing it in a way that gives you a pass, but being able to say what you want to say and you get laughs. And when you get laughs, you're able to talk about hard things and and I don't know, it just seems like there's this finesse way to talk about hard things. Like Anthony Jeselnik's one of my favorite comics. And Anthony, he used to go to like cancer wards and like these different places, and like you can see it on his old show called The Jeselnik Offensive, where he like basically made a career out of like, I'm an offensive comic. Um, so what? That's it. And when you really listen to him, I mean, he like atheist, like, you know what I mean? He's not Christian or anything, but like he would literally go after it and just say like, this is it. These are jokes. These are jokes. And he would go into these these cancer clinics and places where people are dying, and he would get them laughing, and he would get them to laugh at their very sickness, like their very cancer, like the different types of cancer that were represented in the room, and like how people are like being told they're gonna die and like they're not gonna survive, or like they're not gonna make it. They might not beat cancer. And so instead of saying things that were like, ways to like help people feel good without addressing it, like he's able to go right at it and be like, yo, this is messed up. Like, can't believe you're dying. Like, you don't even know how to pronounce this stuff. And people appreciated it because not me, right? I don't have that gift, but he's able to help a person understand. I don't know, he's able to kind of say it in a way that is just basically like, yo, this is crazy, you should be able to laugh at it, you should be able to laugh at the darkest thing in your life. And and that's my job. I'm a comedian, and I'm supposed to help you laugh, and if I get you to laugh, then my job is done. My job is done. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I do. I get laughs. I make people laugh. I don't make people laugh, but like, Jezelnik or Gillis or um man, there's so many comics out there, Chappelle, Chris Rock, Katt Williams. I love Katt Williams. There's so many. There's so many, but they get you to laugh at these like this awful things, and that's exactly what comedy is supposed to do. Let's Okay, so I'm just gonna pivot real quick, still within comedy, but I'm just gonna pivot real quick and just say that if it had not been for comedy, if it had not been for laughter, if it had not been for irreverent comedy, I I don't know if I'd be here. Like, it was through comedy, through an encounter with the Lord, that brought me back to my faith, brought me back to me, brought me back to reality, brought me back to life. And I just want to say to you, like, if you're experiencing things like depression and divorce and addiction and different kinds of things and family related things, man, Jesus is he's the answer. He is so good. But I also want to encourage you too that you might be in Christ and you're feeling these ways. Laugh. Allow yourself to laugh. Allow yourself to laugh. You'll feel so much better. So much better. And I feel like some of the authority that I speak on with this laughter is because a very good pastor that I look up to wrote once in one of his books that like laughter is very much medicine for the soul. And everyone's way of laughing, how they spell out humor or what humor looks like for them is going to be different. I pray it's not like offensive and racist and crazy, right? But I mean, like, just like laughter in itself. Very, very good for the soul. It's funny, it's important. And sometimes we don't laugh at things because we don't understand it. So I just encourage you, take some time to understand it better. Like, just take some time to understand, like what is comic theory? What's he trying to say? Is he saying like what everyone else is trying to get me to buy into and think? Like, am I just being pulled by my emotions, or like am I just going to sit back and think about it even more and then understand that, like, oh man, like, this guy's not racist, this guy is like making jokes, he's making jokes in in like a sort of small sample size of a larger context, of a fuller, larger story, that if you watch the whole thing you will understand the small sample, right? But people nowadays don't want to do that. They don't want to take that time to watch a whole um speech or like monologue or a presentation. Instead they just watch that like one joke. But I think if you take time to like understand it more, or just sit with it more, and talk with people that appreciate comedy, talk with people that appreciate, um, you know, the benefits, the joy of comedy. It it will really, I think it'll help. It'll go a lot. You'll go far. Whatever. Or don't cancel me. I don't care. Whatever. So anyway, that's my show for today. Thank you so much for listening to me go on and on and on and on and on and rant and rant, 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 rant. But I do. So going forward, what we'll be doing is I'll be uh, yeah, taking opportunity to try different things and talking about different various things that are very important to me. And I hope that this worked. So with this one, I used Zoom, and it seems pretty cool to me. I like the idea that I can have a blurred background, although it makes me feel like I'm just like out here in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, we'll see what that's like. But thank you so much, and I will talk to you again soon. God bless. Oh yeah, and definitely you know, um yeah. Subscribe, follow, do whatever on all the podcasts. Okay? Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.